Well, how much did the narcissist actually care about you? It's a good question. It's a really freezing cold, rainy evening. I would normally be taking a walk tonight somewhere, but I don't mess with cold and rain at the same time. Lots of other combinations, but not that one. So I figured I'll stay in. Why not do a video this evening? Wasn't planning on it, but I did want to talk to this because about this because it's come up recently in my own mind and a couple other people I've talked to, maybe yours as well. We wonder how much the narcissist actually ever cared about us. Well, I know some people are going to immediately say, and you're probably thinking, could be thinking anything. I know some people are going to say, none, zero, not at all, never cared, never do. Other people are going to say, well, they actually really cared about me. They really, really did. I was special to them. I was unique. Maybe they even told you that. Maybe they told you how great a person you were. Maybe they said any number of things that made you think that they sincerely cared about you. And there's lots of places in between. Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that for me, even though I've given this a lot of thought and I'm now pretty far removed and I've dealt with multiple in various ways, and I've had to kind of rethink my belief on it. But I'm going to tell you, I still don't have a very firm, definitive explanation. And the reason is, I don't think that you can make rational, logical sense of most of what they do. We know their patterns. We know the playbook that they run out of. We know the series where they love bomb you, then they devalue you, then they discard you. Sometimes they hoover you. I don't think they hoover as much as they used to. Don't need to. Too much supply. Supply on tap everywhere they look. Dating sites, social media, and that's going to be another one I do here soon. Hit on that again. But it's too convoluted. These people don't. They're predictable yet totally unpredictable. They make some sense yet no sense. They are a deep, dark chasm of secrets and mischief and darkness. And absolutely, they can make you think that they cared, and then they can show 1,000 different ways that they clearly did not care. So I'm just going to hit on a couple different things while I'm just thinking through this. It's not scripted in any way, just talking on this one tonight. Did the narcissist really ever care? Well, I want to say this. In the beginning, I think that to some degree they did. Hear me out. To some level they did. Because I believe they gaslight themselves and are gaslighted by the demonic powers that run them into actually believing. See, this is part of the delusion for them. They actually do believe to some level, maybe temporarily, that they have found the next best thing that's actually finally going to be that missing piece of the puzzle. We know they're on an endless journey. They're insatiable. Nothing is ever good enough, but I do think temporarily in their own warped delusional minds, they sort of do think at times, maybe that person, maybe, maybe it's this person. Oh, I mean, they've got this and that, and they've got this better than my ex and that. And I think temporarily they believe maybe it can work. And one of the explanations I have for this is A, they're still at least partially human. There's still something about the narcissist that is human as God intended it. Not a lot as time goes on, and it varies from, degree to degree. But there's still some humanity there. And so I think that a basic human desire is to be with another person. We were created, man and woman were created to be together. I think everyone innately has that desire. I think the narcissist does too, but it's much to a lesser extent than what a normal, healthy person has it. They still have it though. So they might think to themselves, yeah, all my exes are trash and garbage and crap and junk, but think, well, maybe this person I can actually make it work with. So I think they cared about us and cared about you in the sense of it's fresh, it's new, maybe, just maybe, this could happen to some degree. So they cared about showing you interest and building you up. And part of that's a game and part of that's the mask. But I do think an element of it is that they actually think, I like this person. I think they offer things. Maybe it can work. But even when I say that, I just mentioned this on my last video, the insane things narcissists say. Both the ones I dealt with directly said, basically, that they implode, they self sabotage, they blow relationships up, and basically, I know how this is going to go. We're going to do this and this, and you're going to start disliking me, and I'm going to pick on little things, and it's going to blow up. So it's like they know it can't work because they know how broken they are, but they also, in their still somewhat human sense, want it to work. Figure that out. I told you this wasn't going to be clear because I just don't think it can be. Another element of this is we know that they lack proper love and empathy. And the worse the narcissist, the less empathy. The worse they are, the less they care. So in some sense, it's going to depend on where the narcissist was that you dealt with. How far gone were they? Because I'm going to tell you right now, the two I dealt with, one to a way lesser extent, never even became in any way romantic, really. That person, I think, actually has more empathy than the main narcissist. The one I dealt with more temporarily at least had some semblance of family life, connections to family. They kept some friends for many years. They did more things for their children than the narcissist that I dealt with. Whereas the original, that one had no relationships with family members, none. Treated her son horribly and had just an endless boom, 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 boom cycle of relationships, as I found out. So I would say that, yeah, it depends. Maybe you dealt with a narcissist who was a narcissist, but really wasn't as far down the road. And if they weren't, they probably cared about you more than, say, one that I dealt with, who was probably malignant, close to malignant, meaning just highly volatile, really had low empathy, could look at you and say, people are disposable. Yeah, it depends. So that's an element that we have to try to account for is how far gone, how far down the path of wickedness and darkness are they? You can't say that doesn't factor in. See, we can talk about the narcissist or narcissist all we want, but we do have to remember that there are shades of gray with how bad they are. I know people who have a heck of a lot of narcissistic traits that still do love people and still do care about people to some degree. They can still be really good parents. They can still really care about someone, even though they got a lot of narcissistic traits. Because the thing that I try to emphasize on this channel, among other things, is that narcissistic traits are evil traits. They're fallen, corrupted traits that unrepentant, untransformed human beings have after the fall. The more like the more narcissistic traits you have, the more you are like the devil. The less you are, the more you are like Christ. So it is a spectrum. That's why there might be times, guys, where I'll talk about things and you guys are thinking, well, not mine, the narcissist was way worse than I even dealt with, it sounds like. And there are others of you that are thinking, man, I never went through anything like that. Yikes. It's because they're shades of gray. They're all wicked. The question then also becomes, are they reprobate or are they not reprobate? Are they too far gone beyond the grace of God given over completely to darkness, totally impossible to be transformed in any way, or are they not? So this will depend on how much they actually could, even in potentiality, care about you. So those are elements that I think of. One of the things too that I have to just give you an honest. So I know there are shades of gray, but let me flip the script here. And let me be very general about narcissists overall. And I'll just say a narcissist that's bad enough that you've truly pinpointed, yes, I was dealing with a narcissist. Wherever they were, I was dealing with one. I have to say, I actually think most of them cared. You're not going to like this because some of us want to think that they're still pining for us in their hearts, and they still are after us and stalking us all the time on social media. They still do that stuff, but we want to think when we're not healed, man, I hope that person's tormenting over me. Oh man, I hope I meant so much to them. I get it. I get it. It's a temptation to feel that way. But I actually think in full evaluation at this point, could change my mind. I don't think they ever cared very much. And the reason is there's lots, but they don't attach to people. This is why they can go so cold. They can ghost you in the blink of an eye. You can build something up for 2 or 3 months and go to special events this person has, and they'll stay up all evening texting you, talking to you, and sends you pictures of their children, and you think you're actually building something, and then they can just literally vanish. And a few days later to say, I don't think I want to see anybody right now. And that's all you get. If you even get that. The reason they can do it is one reason is because they don't attach to people. They just don't value human beings. They don't value humanity. They don't value themselves. They don't value anyone really. And they have this total inability to attach in a healthy way to somebody. They don't attach, meaning they were not in it the way that you were ever in it. They didn't see the value in you. They saw what you could do. What can I get out of this person? That's just and that's how they view love almost. I think love for the narcissist is this person offers me a bunch of stuff. That's love. They give me a lot. I love them, sort of thing, kind of. They don't attach, though, the way that we attach. And so that means, in principle, they don't care that much. I don't know that most of them spend a lot of time pining after you and thinking of you all the time. And they, like I said, they will do these things. They will follow you on social media. They'll give you little pokes and prods, and occasionally here and there, they certainly do think of you to some degree, but I don't think it's as much as I would have originally thought. Because A, another factor is how great a person were you for them? Just as there's shades of gray and spectrums to the narcissist and their behaviors and how far gone they are, there are spectrums and shades of gray to how good any of us were and what we brought into their lives. We're not we're not all on the same level in that sense. And I'm not talking about myself or anybody else or pedestalizing anyone, but we don't all offer the same combination of things. Some people are farther along in their lives holistically all the way around than others are. We all have value, equal value before God. At least all of us who know the Lord. And God does love all creation, even the narcissist, but he does give them over when he has to. So we offer different things. So I'll only say this. If you know that you really offer a lot mentally, spiritually, maybe physically, and I'm not hung up on this stuff by any means, but additionally, like a bonus, you do have money, maybe you do have a nice house and job, and Like that stuff does matter to some degree. It's not for people like us, that's totally secondary. Totally. For the narcissist, it matters a lot. So it depends. If you knew you were the kind of person that you're like, I know I was unreplaceable, irreplaceable, I should say. I know I was. Then you know what? They probably did care a lot in their own sick, twisted way. They probably do pine after you. They probably do, in their own way, again, regret it. They probably do compare everyone. Take it or leave it. Was it true? Was it not? You can never know with the narcissist. I can just say, for one thing I heard, you may have heard the same thing. I will always compare everyone to you. Well, I think that's actually true. Do I know that for sure? No. My only point is you can only you can say whether or not you think you brought that into their lives. And if you did, well, yeah, you are irreplaceable and they will think about you more than they will other people. Because again, there's still a human element to the narcissist. They're not total creatures in all ways. So I know I'm covering a lot of different things here, guys, but I'm really trying to just give you my heart without any premeditated thoughts. What do I think to that question? How much do the narcissists care about you? Overall, it depends on how bad a narc they are. Depends on how good you were for them. Depends on the time and place where they met you in their lives. What situation were they probably in? What did you do for them? There's a lot of different factors involved, but I do think, as a general rule, overall, they didn't care as much as you think because they can't properly attach to anybody. They don't see the value in a person as a person, only in terms of a transactional thing. It's really true. People say it a lot, but it's true. So, so the question is, I mean, I don't know. How much did they really care? Less overall than I think we would like, even knowing their sickness and darkness. But I'll tell you another thing. So they can't attach, but that also means that they can't what? Detach. They don't attach in a healthy way and they don't detach in a healthy way, which is often not only the reason, but often why you see hoovering attempts. They didn't form a healthy bond with you, and so they can't just leave the bond they had with you. Because another problem is they never get over anybody. They don't spend the time to get over anyone. This is why we can get to a place like I am. I talk about narcissism all the time, but I don't give a hoot about the narcissist. Not zero, not zilch. I only draw upon these experiences to help you guys and to reaffirm to myself what to look for. But they don't do that because they don't go away and they don't heal. They don't spend a lick of time doing it. So they never got over you in that sense. They never got over the first relationship they ever had because they didn't spend any time doing it. But yes, at some point, when you have this big plethora, this pantheon of relationships, people just become less valuable as you do go. That's why they might tell you, like I heard, everyone's disposable. Because the more you cycle through this, the worse they get, the less they can care, the less they're capable of caring. See how multifaceted this is? So at the beginning, if you were just saying, nope, they didn't care at all, or yep, they cared a lot. No, it's in between. So many factors involved. So I guess in the end, it really depends. It's somewhat subjective. Drop comments below. What do you think? How much do they care? How much did the one you were with care? They're not all the same. They're not all built the same. So my closing statement would be, I don't think that they are capable of caring the way we think of caring. I don't think they look back in agony and pine and pine and pine after anybody. But what they do still do, and there's somewhat human part of them that exists, unless it's gone, they're so reprobate that that's even gone. They do they do look back on those people who were really the most special to them because they're still kind of human. How much do they agonize? Probably not much. Do they compare you to other people? Probably, if you were that person. None of these are satisfying answers. I know you want something definitive. I'm telling you, it just depends. It's a case by case basis. But I think that for all of them, they're capped at a pretty low level. They're capped at this place where it's kind of like, eh, who's next? So, anyway, guys, hope you found this interesting. I will, of course, come at you with another one here soon. Hope you guys are not out in this cold, frigid Ohio weather that I'm in right now. And I hope you're enjoying your evening and weekend. Have a good Christmas coming up, but you'll hear from me before then. So, anyway, guys, thanks for following the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I'll come at you with another one soon. Until then, God bless.